Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this special meeting of the Northern Nye County Hospital District Board of Trustees for May 31st, 2022 to order. Would everybody please rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Item number 2, general public comment. 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. First, no public comment. Anybody on the phone?
No comment from me.
Quiet as none. What's that? Okay. Okay, item number 3, approval of the agenda for May 31st, 2022. We have one item on the agenda. This is a special meeting, and it's the discussion of the early termination amendment to the Development and Services Agreement and Lease Agreement between Northern Nye County Hospital District and Premier Medical Group, LLC. And that is it. Does anybody see anything that needs to be changed?
Yep.
You do have additional backup for this item if you choose to add it. It's just that termination agreement, if you guys want to add that.
Okay. You got copies out for?
I do,
okay.
Yeah.
Then let's do that. Let's add that as a backup. I'll be going through that. Okay, if nothing else changes, then we'll approve the agenda as presented. Item 4, announcements. First.
None for me.
Nothing? Tim, any announcements on your side?
No.
Sam?
No, nothing from me.
Okay. Well, then we'll move on. Number 5, for possible action, emergency items. We don't have any emergency items, so let's go past that. Number 6, trustees liaison comments. This item limited to topics, issues proposed for future workshops and agendas. Anything on that?
I have nothing.
Anything on the callers? Tim or Sam?
Nothing. Nope.
No.
Okay, let's get down to business. Item number 7, for possible action, discussion and deliberation to accept the early termination amendment to the Development and Services Agreement and the Lease Agreement between Northern Nye County Hospital District and Premier Medical Group, LLC, or determine Premier Medical Group, LLC, doing business as CNRC, is to be in breach of the contract. Ms. Patty, I have a letter from Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see this before?
I have not seen this before.
Okay. Do you want to read it into the minutes?
I will read it into the minutes. So this is a letter that Don received from our attorney, Tom Vallis, regarding the contractual relationship with CNRC. The letter states, Dear Don, you have requested my advice regarding the legal provisions contained in the Development and Service Agreement, the Service Agreement, and Lease Agreement, the lease, between the District and Premier Medical Group, LLC, doing business as Central Nevada Regional Care, or CNRC. As we have discussed previously, CNRC is not providing the provider services required under the service agreement because it does not have and has not had for some time any providers employed on site at the clinic. While CNRC claims to be performing some telehealth and has 2 providers come to town once per month to provide services in the clinic is not providing the level of service required by the service agreement for whatever reason. This constitutes a material breach of the service agreement. The district provided notice to CNRC of its breach of the service agreement on October 6, 2021. The notice demanded that CNRC correct the deficiencies noted or present an acceptable plan of correction within 30 days, or the district would evaluate its remedies. On October 19, 2021, I received a letter from CNRC's counsel stating that the district was in breach of the agreement, including late and non-payment of invoices, which incidentally predate the October 2021 invoice presented by CNRC on or about April 29, 2022, which is the earliest invoice for which CNRC presently seeks payment. Failure to provide notice and right of first refusal for new services, and voting to defund CNRC to cure perceived breaches. CNRC claimed in that letter that the district's breaches directly hampered my client's ability to recruit and staff the clinic with qualified care providers, end quote. To date, the district still cannot determine the services CNRC provides to patients in the clinic. Additionally, CNRC does not operate the clinic as required by the services agreement. Most of the other deficiencies noted in the October 6, 2021 letter continue to be issues. Based on the language of the service agreement, it appears that CNRC continues to be in material breach of the service agreement. Section 9.2 of the service agreement allows the district to terminate the contract for cause if CNRC is in material breach, and CNRC fails to cure that breach after 30 days notice. CNRC appears to have failed to remedy its many breaches within that time period. In the event of a default, the district would be entitled to the damages resulting from CNRC's breach. Conversely, CNRC, if it proved a breach by the district, would be entitled to its lost profits due to the breach. As CNRC has never made a profit, it would not appear that damages could be proven, and CNRC would not have a viable claim. The lease provides that CNRC can use the clinic building only for the purpose of providing the services required under the services agreement. As a result, if the service agreement terminates, the lease also would appear to terminate. No notice of termination by the district appears to be necessary in that event. The district voted to terminate the service agreement and lease without cause effective May 1st, 2022. Let me reread that. The district voted to terminate the services agreement and lease without cause effective May 1st, 2022. You provided an agreement to accomplish that termination on or about April 7th, 2022. Mr. Lee did not respond to your calls to discuss the termination. Instead, he has provided invoices previously not submitted for the period of October 2021 through April 2022, totaling some $280,000 in alleged sums due. Based on your review, it does not appear that the invoices have merit, as the cost and billings asserted in those documents do not make sense with no clinical providers having been in the clinic for some time. You also informed me that certain CNRC employees have provided information that Mr. Lee has told them that their last day of work will be May 31st, 2022. This may evidence an intent to cease providing services in Tonopah and abandon the use of the building under the lease. Accordingly, I recommend and advise that the district should terminate the service agreement and the lease immediately for cause effective June 1st, 2022. Please note that CNRC may seek to take legal action against the district for its alleged breaches from October 19th, 2021 letter and the current invoices presented. There's a binding arbitration provision in the service agreement that would apply. Mr. Lee would be may be bluffing, and his possible claims appear to lack substance, but I cannot state with certainty that he will back down without a legal fight. For the special meeting called for May 31st, 2022, I would recommend that the agenda include the termination of the service agreement and lease for cause, and that an item also be added that allows the district to request a detailed audit of all invoices submitted by CNRC, since the invoices submitted and paid in light of the questionable nature of items included in the recent invoices provided. Please let me know if you have any further questions on this issue or require assistance in addressing your concerns. I would be happy to attend the meeting if needed. Sincerely, Mr. Vallis.
Okay, thank you, Patty. Would you like to start this off, or are we going to make this very simple?
Well, I could start with a motion because I think that we could go through the contract page by page if anybody needs to do that, but it is clear that they are in breach. They have an Exhibit A as part of their agreement that lines out what they are to provide on a daily basis. That has not occurred for months since they lost their PA, and some of it probably even prior to that. So the breach has been there. And if we need to discuss that, we definitely can go through that. But if nobody has any discussion, I am ready to make a motion.
Jim, do you have anything?
Nope. I would just recommend that, as Tom does in his letter, that actually that anybody who makes the motions actually include the mechanism for which the district obtains detailed audits.
Okay. Sam?
No, nothing additional from me.
Okay.
Public comment?
I have a comment from public.
Boris Carlisle, C-A-R-L-Y-L-E. It's a sad day we've reached this point, but since we have, it's imperative that we terminate as soon as possible because we have a community that doesn't have the needed public health and safety of medical services, and we need to replace it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the only thing I can see here is I would be in favor, but I want to make sure that we put something in the motion that allows CNRC to follow up with backup to trying to prove what they said their statements, what we owe them. Because if we owe them money, I want to make them whole for what we owe them. Even though they're in breach of the contract, there still had people working there on a daily basis, the receptionists and so forth. And so that's the only thing I can see that I want to have in the motion so that it gives them a chance to stand up, even though we don't have anybody online from Van Lee or CNRC.
We have 2 members of the public. I'm not sure who one of them are.
Okay, online, Van or anybody from CNRC, are you online?
They'll need to press 5* to speak.
If you're online and you'd like to make a comment, please press 5 and then the star, and it'll show up on our computer, and we can unmute you so you can make some public comment. Nobody? Okay.
Okay, I motion that we terminate the contract and lease with CNRC due to their breach effective immediately. We immediately secure our building, that we give their representatives 14 days to contact a member of the board to retrieve any of their belongings, and that we, in closing this contract, have a forensic audit done on all of the invoices submitted by CNRC, that we accept and review and then audit any future invoices.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second? Jim, did I hear you second it?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Sam, anything?
Nope, I agree with the motion.
Okay, if I have no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? 4-0 passes. We will terminate the agreement as of tonight, and we will take possession of our property, and I will get with Tom Vallis in the morning and have him write an official letter to CNRC in Van.
And I can be available over the course of the next 14 days for any, I'll be gone. Oh, I won't be available. But available, I will get a hold of Melissa and she'll have my days. And I can definitely, and then on the days I'm not, it'll be on the weekends. Are you going to be here over the weekend?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so if I'm not here, Don will be here and they can contact one of the three of us to make arrangements to pick up anything that they have in the building.
Okay.
So would you like a trustee present if anyone takes their supplies? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because we want to validate and make a note, make notes on what they take, if anything. Okay, nothing more for item 7. Let's move on to item 8, general public comment. Second. Go ahead, Melissa.
As of right now, CNRC is paying all utilities, trash, power, water, sewer. They're paying for all of that. So if their contract is terminated, do I need a motion at a future meeting to take over those? It's not on the current next meeting, but we will need to take over those because my office and dental need that.
Right.
I don't think we need to. It's our building and it's part of our standard.
And we're responsible for all that. So what we'll do is we'll make a list of what we got to get a hold of tomorrow and change the contract, change the electrical. Electrical is the biggest thing right away. And then the phones, whether they're paying the phones or are we paying our own phone.
My office phone is ran by Wi-Fi, and we have our own Wi-Fi.
Okay, so that we're seeing. And then we'll get a hold of Pool Pack. We already covered insurance with Pool Pack, right? So
yes, so we don't have to change that. What it is just those operational things, and we just have to have all of those operational things changed over to our name. So really, Melissa could probably take care of that, and if she needs any one of us.
And I'm available. You know how to get a hold of me.
I just need to make sure I didn't need a motion to do any of that.
I don't think so.
Any other public comment? If not, we'll move on to item number 9, announcements. Second. It's going to be a short meeting. I will contact tonight, as soon as we get finished, I'll contact Mr. Galley and have him set up to come in and rekey the place so that we're good to go. Because we have to rekey it anyway, because we have the dental people coming in. And I want to make sure they have access to their offices, but it doesn't breach the HIPAA rules and that for for the medical stuff.
Right.
So we'll have to make sure whatever medical files are there are locked up separately where nobody can get to them.
Correct.
Okay. Nobody else has announcements? Move on to item number 10, adjourn. Thank you, Tim, Sam.